Today, I got the Platinum Trophy on Crash Bandicoot. The Crash series is notorious for being one of the best, but also the hardest 3D platformer series of all time, and Crash 1 is no exception, as it clocks in at a 7 out of 10 difficulty for the Platinum Trophy. The reason I decided to go for this Platinum in the first place is because this is my 25th Platinum Trophy that I have acquired, and I wanted it to be not only from a series that I really enjoy and really admire, but I also wanted it to be more of a difficult Platinum than I typically go for. The trophy guy says that it will take 18 hours to complete, but I managed to do it in only 9 hours, because I'm just kind of goated like that.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
Now there's a total of 25 trophies in Crash Bandicoot, but only 23 of them are required for the Platinum, because 2 of them are based on one level that was added in the Insane Trilogy. I didn't know this when I started out, so I actually had 25 on the counter instead of 23. And for the most part, none of these are really that difficult. The only really hard one is the ones that are tied to getting the gold relics, which are based off of speedrun challenges, which we'll get to. Thankfully, I'm pretty good at speedrunning, but even someone as skilled as me, honestly, some of these relics had me
Thought about killing myself.
Our story begins with Crash being experimented on by Dr. Neocortex. Honestly, at a first glance though, I got kind of confused and I thought that Crash was going to the dentist office. That or he was going to heaven. After a system malfunction though, he breaks out and he's able to escape Neocortex, but somehow forgets his baddie that he left behind. I didn't think it was possible, but somehow Crash Bandicoot is better at losing women than I am. We then get into the game, and this is where I got to be completely honest. Crash Bandicoot 1?
I mean, it's alright, like, overrated as fuck.
Yeah, I don't think I'm breaking any boundaries by saying I'm not a big fan of Crash 1's movement. In later Crash games, they introduced the slide move, which makes our movement kind of slick. But in this game, all you can do is run and jump and spin. Anyways, I progressed through the first level, and in each level there are a certain number of crates. And if you break every single crate, you get a gem, which I'm gonna need to do for every single level, but I did it for the first one here, not because I had to, but because I wanted to. We then moved on to my second level, which I ended up getting my first 2 trophies in. The first was for just spinning an enemy into another enemy 2 times in one level, and this is the first trophy that most people will get, and just like me, you'll most likely get it by accident. I also got this trophy here for collecting 3 character tokens and unlocking my first bonus area. There are tons of these in the game, but this is just the first of many. I continue on throughout the first aisle of levels, and I experience some of the most iconic stages in platforming history, like the boulder level and also this level here. We then got to our first boss fight, which is Papu Papu, who is easily the easiest boss fight in any game I've ever played. Seriously, even a child could beat this. But I got a trophy for that, and by child, by the way, I mean literally a fetus. This is nothing hard. After that, it finally happened. We unlocked the woman. We unlocked Coco, and I swapped to her immediately and played her in the next level. I ended up killing 5 enemies, and that gave me this trophy as her, which is the only Coco trophy in the game. Talk about equality, am I right? Pretty soon after that, we came to this river level here where I had to go backwards to get these crates, and I accidentally spun away a life because I didn't realize that it was underneath this bridge. So I got a trophy for that, but not the way I intended to. We then got to our next boss fight, which is Ripperoo, and honestly, this was probably the hardest boss fight in the entire game. You would need to time out hitting these TNT crates so that they blow up on him, and honestly, I don't even know how I did this. I think I just did it all by luck, but I beat him and I got a trophy for it. The next level was the first case that we had a color gem, and while I'm not going to go over all of these in detail, all you need to know about the color gems is that there are 6 levels that you need to beat without dying and getting every single crate, and that gives you the color gems. Now these are important because you need the color gems in order to unlock paths in other levels that are inaccessible otherwise. And the reason I'm bringing this up here is because this one right here for this level is honestly the hardest color gem of all, the green gem. And what's crazy is you don't even get a trophy for getting any of these. It kind of just sucks. But while I was working on this level and I was just playing through it the first time, I accidentally missed more than 30 crates, which gave me a trophy for being an absolute dogshit person at this game. But anyways, after getting the green gem, we came across another iconic level design of Crash Bandicoot, which are the sky levels. And there are 2 of these in the game, and this is easily the better of the 2. We'll get to the other one later. but these are notorious for being very difficult, especially when we get to the relics and the speedruns of this Platinum Trophy playthrough. We then got to our next really hard level, and this is easily the longest level in the entire game. The speedrun for it is about 4 minutes, and it would give me a big pain later on, but for now I just had to beat it, and I needed to collect everything. While I was collecting everything, I managed to collect a key by getting the Cortex tokens. There are 2 of these in the game, and they unlock other bonus levels later on. Alongside unlocking a level though, I also got a trophy for it. We then proceeded to our final island of the game, where we fought this koala guy as our next boss fight, where we had to spin back these rocks at him after dodging a couple of other smaller rocks, and after doing this a few times, we were able to get the trophy no problem whatsoever. This one's not that big of a deal. Next up, we started going to the very hard levels of this game, where the platforming gets really intense in these like power plant facility type areas, and we got our trophy here for dying by electricity, which I guess you could say is shocking. After getting some colored gems and making it through more levels in this game, I made it to our next boss fight, which is basically like this mafia boss, which is pretty awesome. This boss is one of the harder ones. You have to wait for him to stop shooting, and then you have to go up to him and hit him. And for some reason, I just got really impatient, and this took me a while, but I got a trophy after beating him. After that, we had another sky level, which was the harder one I was alluding to earlier, as well as this stormy, rainy level, which both of these my therapist is going to hear about. After this, we reached this level here, which I actually got 2 trophies during this level. The first was just for stepping on a hidden gem path, which you unlock after collecting a colored gem that corresponds to it. And then the second trophy I got here was for getting yet another hidden key, which, once again, just like the last one, was for getting to the Cortex sub area and beating it. I then came across this level which had this secret exit that we could take if you collected the correct color gem, and that brought you up to a bunch of lives. And coincidentally enough, this put me at 99 lives, which gave me a trophy. After this, we fought Mr. N. Briot, and you do not want to know what the N stands for. After stepping on the Incredible Hulk 3 times though, we got this trophy for beating this boss fight, and then finally we were at the final boss in the main story, which was Neo Cortex. We had to rub our balls all over him by hitting these green balls into him while dodging his blue and purple ones. Basically, there's a lot of balls to go around.
That's what she said.
After rubbing our balls together for a good hefty while, I ended up defeating him, saving our girlfriend, and getting our trophy for beating the game. So now it was time for the actual cleanup portion of this Platinum Trophy, and that required me to go back and get all of the gems that I haven't collected at this point, as well as get all of the gold relics. Now the gems were really easy, and I don't really have much to say about them. I just decided to start from the very end of the game and work my way backwards, and then do the opposite for the relics. And so I ended up going backwards, making sure to break every single crate and get the gem for each and every single level. And this is really easy to do if you have all the colored gems, which at this point you should. So I got 2 trophies here, one for collecting half of the gems in the game, and one for collecting all 26 gems in the entirety of the game. But you guys don't care about that. You guys are here for what you came here for, the gold relics. Now there are 3 different types of speedrun relics for each level in the game, one for getting sapphire, one for getting gold, and one for getting platinum. These are different times that you have to reach in each level to unlock the corresponding relic. Now thankfully the devs of this game were nice and they didn't require you to get platinums, because if that were the case, this would have absolutely sucked. But that's not to say that the gold relics are a walk in the park, as some of them took me a little bit of time. A lot of these would range from really difficult to really easy. Some of them I would actually get the platinum time for with relative ease, and others, like this one right here, I would spend a lot of time on. But I pushed through, and I managed to get my first trophy from the relics for collecting 5 golden relics in the game. Shortly after that, I earned one more miscellaneous trophy that I hadn't earned up till this point, which I was actually kind of surprised about, by just dying to one of these plant enemies while I was working on one of the levels that was definitely giving me some trouble. Now, easily the hardest levels for me to do were the ones that were relatively longer. When you have to do ones that last a minute and you fail at the very end, it sucks. Take for example this one here, which took over a minute and a half for me to complete and get the gold relic, and that's just for the gold one. But after some trial and error, I finally made it all the way through this one, and this was actually my 10th relic that I needed to earn, which gave me this trophy here. Now, even though I despise a lot of levels that were over a minute and a half in length for the relics, the good news is some of them were much more lenient to get the time than others because they were so long. And for example... I think that's platinum relic done, or gold relic done. I mean, maybe. That's a platinum? I got flattened, and I spent a lot of time waiting to get back up, and I still got the platinum relic somehow. But basically, over the next 3 to 4 hours, I just grinded out the golden relics for the rest of the game. Now, like I said, I have speedrun experience, so a lot of them weren't too bad, but the main ones that gave me a lot of trophy were this level, which was basically a 4-minute gauntlet. And you heard that correctly, 4 minutes, and that's just for the gold. And then there's the second sky level. The first one wasn't too bad, but the second one here, you actually have to jump on top of the ropes here in order to get good cycles, and this took a lot of practice to do, not only efficiently, but also fast. And then there was the last level in the game called the lab. Now this one had a lot of timing and also a lot of strategizing that I had to do in order to complete it under its time limit. But just like with speedrunning outside of this game, it all came down to practice and dedication. So honestly, I don't think this is as hard as a lot of people make it out to be, it's just that practice makes perfect. But obviously I could be a little biased here. After about 100 or 200 attempts spread across 26 different levels and a lot of perseverance, I got my 26th gold relic, which popped to this trophy right here, followed by the platinum right after. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Platinum Trophy experience for Crash Bandicoot 1, and honestly, I don't think it's as hard as a lot of people make it out to be. Yes, it is difficult, yes, it is a challenge, and yes, it did test my patience at times, specifically with the relics, but I don't think it's as bad as a lot of people make it out to be, and I definitely don't think it's a 7 out of 10 difficulty, though that could just be because I'm used to speedrunning 3D platformers. That being said though, I'm glad that this is my 25th platinum, as it definitely was harder than most of the platinums that I've gone for up until this point, and if you want to see me go for even harder platinums, the more platinums I do, the more hard ones I'm going to do in the future, like Super Meat Boy and Crash Bandicoot, which are both at 9 out of 10s or 10 out of 10 difficulties. So if you want to see those, make sure to drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and also go follow my Twitch, which I actually streamed my entire platinum playthrough for Crash Bandicoot 1 on over there. Thanks so much for watching this video, guys, and have a good day.